Okay, welcome. This is a video for 8R for Algebra 2. So for adding and subtracting rational exponents. So for this right here, we have our three examples and you can read that for yourselves. But one thing you gotta understand in order to do these problems, and I'll show you all of these right now, is to remember this, to remember your fraction rules. Now this is 8L. What we had when you multiply fractions, numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. And then of course when you divide fractions, you multiply by the reciprocal. So that was about 8L. We are in 8R right now, so we have to know the addition subtraction. You can only do that if you have same denominator. And if you have different denominators, you got to manipulate fractions in order to have same denominator, because that's the only way you can add and subtract. So we should know our fraction rules. So let's go ahead and get started with this one here. The first three examples, so you can get used to these. Okay. Also, actually, before we get started, let me go one by one so you can change them. Actually, I had to change mostly all of them except the last two. So can you please have it change, or you can get a corrected one on Monday. So either one, you can change it the way it is, or on Monday you can get a corrected one. That's that one. That's that one. You see how I kind of changed it? It looks a little different now. I wanted to give you easier ones. I think the other ones I gave you were a bit tough. So change that one like that, and you can do the setup for it. This one's like this. This one's like that. And of course you can always pause, like when I do these frames, so you can see it clear. And oh yeah, those last two stayed the same, but I wanted to show you their setups for that. Okay, so let me just do the first three here, the main three examples, and then you can go ahead and practice with the other ones. Alright, so look here. When you have here different denominators, but the only way this can be the same as that is if you multiply with a 3. Now you want to multiply with both bottom, top with a 3, because you want to not change something. So it stays the same quantity. So it's basically like you're multiplying by 1. So you're just manipulating something. So you have to distribute for the top, and then this becomes 3y, same. And then we continue here, because you gotta distribute. But now you can put it under the same. So if you have same denominator, that's exactly why we do this, because now we can put it under the same one. We can just rewrite this, and this right here will be a 15 minus 3y. Okay. Now for this, we want to combine like terms, of course. This number will combine with this number, and this, you can box it, will combine with this. So then we get negative 2y minus 16 over 3y. And then we can do one more thing with this. We can actually distribute, just take away factor negative 2 on top, so we can have a nice cleanup, and we can finish it right here so it doesn't get in the way with other ones. So it's a point over there. Factor just a negative 2. It'll be like that, plus 8, and then 3y. That's gonna actually be our answer. So we actually like to keep things factored all the way as possible. So here we don't like to leave it like that, because we can factor out a negative 2, and we did, and it becomes that, and we can't simplify no more. So that's the answer. So you just got to remember how to manipulate, so you can same denominator, combine in the top, it's addition, so you add everything, combine like this, one more factoring, done. Now these are pretty tough. I know that some of them is a little bit to get used to it. So let me do this one before this last one. This is a tougher one. So for this one, so if you see something like this, this W is almost what this W squared. If you actually multiply the W, then you have W squared. So that's exactly what we do for both sides. And of course this distributes. Well, I just rewrote it here. So just rewrote it here. This is the same, but this has multiplied the W's at the top and the bottom. So now we can do exactly what we did with the other one. Just continue this problem under one common base now, because they can combine like this now. Rewrite this, distribute this correctly. Well, it'll be like this, like minus W squared minus 5W, like that. Now be careful with this negative, distribute that correctly before we use it. And so it becomes, this cancels this, and then that becomes 5W plus 2 over W squared. And actually, you cannot do nothing else, nothing factors, and you're done. That is the answer. Nice. So sometimes they work out like that, where something cancels nice, and then you just left this negative distributes to this and this. That's why it makes it positive 5W, and then that plus 2 is just plus 2. That's there. Nice. So let's do this last one before you can get your practice for the rest of them. Now this is one of the toughest ones, because look, the denominators, they look a bit different. Like, how do I get one of the other? Well, when it's a bit complicated like that, you just multiply the entire thing to the other, and then for the other one, same, the entire thing of the other one. So you'll see how this works at the end. You can kind of see it here where it's same, and you keep it in factored form, because that's what you do for the denominators for these things. You want to keep things factored as much as possible, but we're distributing this because we want to combine this top part with the minus. So that's what you do. You do something like this, where you multiply the h minus 1 to both of these. Here, the h plus 2 to both of these. You rewrite it like this. Now we continue the problem. So this under 1, same base now. Distribute this correctly, and then keep the minus but distribute this. Alright, so one more distribution of the negative right there. So let's do this carefully. So h squared, 2h minus negative h, negative and a negative make a positive, and you can actually just keep the bottom as it is. You don't have to distribute this. This doesn't need to be distributed. Can you factor that? 1 and 3. I don't think so. Well, doesn't matter. It's okay. If you can't factor it, then that's it. That's the answer. Okay? Now there you go. Now I know these are a bit difficult and they're new, but can you please give it a shot and you'll see the answer key soon. So I'll probably have one of these for the final, because these are, or two, just two for the final. It's not that bad. Alright. Thank you.